This is Work Together 13-1, textbook 372, and in your workbook 327. Up to this point, we have figured out our employees' payroll. We figured out how much in total earnings they have made, and then we calculated how much we need to take out for income tax, which is their income tax. We need to turn around and pay the federal government. That's not our money. And Social Security, Medicare, health, bonds, and then deduct all that from their original pay and figure out how much we're actually going to pay them in cash, which is called net pay. Well, now we need to record what we've taken out to show that we owe the government some of these payables that we've taken out. So in the Work Together on page 372, it tells us there's a list of Metro companies' payroll deductions here. Federal income tax withheld was $1,186 as a total for all the employees. So that's how much we owe the government. And to increase how much you owe is a payable, and that's to credit. So I'm going to credit $1,186. Social Security tax payable, it says Social Security tax that was withheld was $781.20. So I owe the government that amount, because that was taken out of those people's paycheck. It's not my money. It's money that they earned. I'm taking it out of their paycheck, and I got to turn around and give it to the government. And Medicare tax payable, what was taken out there was $182.70. The total salary that's expensed to the business, well, the total amount of earnings before any deductions is considered an expense to us. So the total earnings was $12,600. The amount of cash that we're having to lay out is the $12,600 minus 1,186 minus 781.20 minus 182.70. So the cash that is going to be paid out is $10,450.10. Because if you think of it, the health insurance, we took that money out, we're going to go and pay a bill for health insurance for them. And the bonds, we're going to go to the bank and buy some bonds for them. That's just cash. So, the next step, it says, is journalize the payment of Metro's July 1st to the 15th payroll on page 15 of the Cash Payments Journal. A payroll was paid by check number 455 of the July 15th of the current year. So, if I can move this down, July 15th, 2012. Check number, before I forget, 455. And I'm just going to take and record this transaction that we put into the T accounts up above. Debits are always first. Salary, expense, and that's a general debit of $12,600. And employee income tax payable, and that's going to be credit 1,186. Social Security, tax payable will be credit $781.20. Medicare tax payable will be credited for $182.70. And then, of course, don't forget to come over for cash. On the top line is the amount of 10,000 credit, of course, $450.10. And you can always double check to make sure your credits equal your debits in that transaction. And that transaction happens to be 4 lines long. Now you give it a shot in Work Together 13, or on your own on 13.1. I do have a note in my book that this chapter is very hard for kids, and we need a lot of practice, so pay attention.